First there was Better Man, then Wolf Man, then Dog Man. The men have been really weird this month. Welcome to Box of Chocolates, where you never know what you're gonna get. Today you're getting my opinion on the new film in theaters now, Dog Man. Now this is based on a series of books written by Dave Pilkey. These books were a little bit after my time, but they are a spin-off of Captain Underpants, which was a staple of my childhood. I loved the Captain Underpants books when I was a kid, and also Ricky Ricotta's Mighty Robot. Does anybody remember that? But I also really enjoyed the Captain Underpants movie, which, by the way, that was called the first epic movie. Where's the second epic movie, DreamWorks? Hello? So that's why I was curious to see this, to see how similar to Captain Underpants in style, tone, humor it was going to be, see what Dog Man was all about. So to start off with the positives, I do like the insanity and kind of the horror of this premise, because you have a cop and his dog partner. They get into a severe accident, and the man's head is severely damaged. The dog's body is severely damaged. That's not that big of a deal because the guy was the dumb one to begin with, so they just put the dog's head on the man's body. And now you have Dog Man. So it's like RoboCop, but with a dog, and just a little bit less violent. But seriously, when the guy's head is wounded, his body is still moving, like he moves his arm to pet his dog, which means they killed him, because they removed his head. So he's dead now, and it's just the dog. The dog's head is alive, controlling the man's body. Okay, wow. I like the willingness to just throw out whatever random ideas would be fun. There's a cat that wants to take over the world. There's a psychic fish. Just do whatever you want. It's a cartoon. It doesn't have to make any sense. And the animation style matches that really well. It's really nice to look at. It's very colorful. The colors pop really well. I really like the way the humans look. They kind of look like they're made of clay. It looks similar to the Captain Underpants movie, but also a little bit different, having its own kind of style. I love when studios are willing to experiment more, as some of these people like DreamWorks have been doing lately. It's definitely going to make sure kids are entertained, and the stuff that I enjoyed the most and got the best laughs out of were the visuals, whether you have like the background gags where every building is labeled very literally for what it is, and so I'm just like constantly looking in the background, seeing what little jokes I can find off on the side, or visual gags like Dog Man buying a doghouse, which is just literally a normal tiny little doghouse, but it's way bigger on the inside. Stuff like that, those visual jokes were the ones that I liked the most. The voice cast is good all around. I thought the standout kind of was Pete Davidson as the villain, this cat who wants to take over the world. I actually didn't recognize his voice. I was trying to pinpoint it the whole movie, and then at the end, oh, okay, it's Pete Davidson. Yeah, that makes sense. He was good, and I actually enjoyed his character and his journey the most. It's not a make-you-cry type of animated movie, but the messaging that is there about family is most represented in the villainous character and his bond that he develops with this other character that I thought was actually very nice. And I enjoyed that other character's inclusion because he was cute, he was a fun little guy, and that was kind of the most emotionally resonant aspect of the film. Moving on to my negatives, this is absolutely aimed mostly at kids. There's a lot of animated movies that kids and adults can enjoy in equal amounts, or the adults could even enjoy more. This one is definitely aimed more at the kids, and that's totally fine. They can have it. There's nothing harmful in here for them. There's nothing like terrible about the way that it's made. It just wasn't really for me. Everything in here is very simplistic. The characters are extremely simplistic. The main character especially really didn't stand out very much, mainly because he's kind of just a dog. He can't talk. There's a good stretch in the middle of the movie where he's not in it because we're focusing more on the villain, on the cat. And I got way more invested in him, and by the time Dog Man came back, I kind of forgot about him. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. The main character, the whole title of the movie. He just wasn't really making much of an impression. I think the fact that he can't talk was like a big detriment, and I guess that must be the way it is in the book, but I couldn't help but feel like it would have been more entertaining if he could, if the man's consciousness was somehow still alive in there too at the same time. You can make anything work. It doesn't have to make sense. But then you've got the police chief who's just like a stereotypical angry police chief, and I think that was the joke. but he honestly kind of got a little bit annoying with how often he was yelling.
You know, you take the bag of the marriage, which you better get down the beach, go down the beach. You know, you take the chicken off the back, you stick it out.
So it's all very basic. There's very little depth. Like I said, that one emotional arc surrounding the villain was the strongest aspect. But other than that, it's all very simple. The humor is very much directed at kids. I liked some of the visuals, but the actual humorous dialogue, it wasn't doing anything for me whatsoever. They tried throwing in a couple of references for some of the older folks out there. There was an Aliens reference. There was a Die Hard reference. They were just kind of weird. They didn't really feel like they fit, especially the Die Hard one. And there just wasn't really enough to the plot to maintain my interest. A lot of the middle of the movie is kind of bonding with this side character, who I did think was very cute and I liked him. But because I didn't care about the characters all that much, and it certainly wasn't funny, and it felt very much aimed at kids, I needed a little bit more going on, and it takes until the third act when things really start to get serious, and I would have liked to have seen more of an action-adventure plot the entire time, because as things were, I was kind of zoning out a few times. I was tempted to be on my phone. I didn't pull out my phone in the theater, but I wanted to. I was just not engaged. It felt like I was watching less, one of the more mature DreamWorks films like Puss in Boots: The Last Wish or The Wild Robot, and it felt more like I was watching Paw Patrol. I've never seen Paw Patrol. I don't know what it's like to watch Paw Patrol. I'm just guessing. Felt like the kind of Saturday morning cartoon that would be on the TV and I would not pay any attention to it, and it would do nothing to engage me because it is very, very much for kids. And that's totally fine. Kids will enjoy it, and I hope they do. But I was definitely hoping for more just because I did enjoy the Captain Underpants movie quite a bit. But this is one that the adults in the room could probably tolerate because it's colorful and fast enough. But it's not going to be the one that most adults are going to want to see on their own. I'm actually pretty disappointed. I thought it would be more fun than it was, but I can't be mad. I'm not angry about Dogman. It wasn't made for me, and that's fine. But as for my rating system, it is more of a categorization system, and it is true that I, in fact, did not like it. So for me, that makes it a 2. I really didn't expect that. I thought it would be at least a 3. I thought I would be able to walk out and say, that was at least decent. That was a fun time, but it's very simplistic and very targeted to younger audiences, and my eyes were like glazing over a couple times. Like, I can't engage with this. I can't get invested in this. I think that's a pretty simple review for a pretty simple movie, but that is all I have to say about that. If you've seen Dogman, leave your thoughts down in the comments. Did you read any of the books or any of Dave Pilkey's other stuff? Did you watch Captain Underpants? Did you enjoy that? I think they made a spin-off show, but seriously, just make another movie. Maybe if this does well, maybe I should root for this to do well, because then they'll want to stay more in the Captain Underpants universe. Not that that's like a necessity. You don't have to. I'm good with more Shrek and whatever else they're making. I don't need Captain Underpants 2. But if you want to make it, I am not opposed. But leave your thoughts, whether you agree or disagree. I'd love to talk to you about it. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to see more from me. Companion also came out this week. I already reviewed that. I loved that movie. Go check out my video. I should do a video pretty soon about my ranking of all of January's films. So stay tuned. I appreciate it, and see you next time.